Revenge films.
One day, my daughter, whom I haven't kept in touch with since I got divorced from my wife, suddenly gave me a call. She sounded rigid, probably out of nervousness, when she said,
"I want you to come see me."
And I was very happy. Thinking that I would be able to see my daughter, who I haven't seen for years, made me feel nervous and excited at the same time. The next week, I headed to the cafe where we agreed to meet. The staff took me to a table, and I found my daughter, who looked even more beautiful than in the photo my ex-wife sent me when she turned 20. I sat across the table and tried to start a conversation with a smile, but she just glared at me and stayed silent. When I looked her in the eye, I felt her strong sense of hatred that burned deep inside of her. It was my daughter who contacted me, but I wasn't sure what she wanted, so I was confused. I calmed myself down, fixed my posture, and asked her why she was looking at me like that. Then my daughter opened her mouth to say something unbelievable.
"You cheated on my mom and dumped us. Do you know how hard it's been for Mom?"
I really had no idea what she was talking about, and I was very confused. My daughter continued.
"I never thought of you as my dad, and I never planned to meet or call you, but the people around me forced me to get in touch. You've done nothing for me, so at least give me some money for this last occasion."
That was what she said. I sincerely apologized to my ex-wife so many times about not caring for the family enough, and it was her who refused when I begged that we should start over again. I did get remarried, but I can swear to God that I never cheated on my ex-wife. Also, it was my ex-wife who didn't allow me to see our daughter, although I really wanted to. Even in this situation, I supported them as much as I could by paying child support. But why does my daughter, who I haven't seen in a long time, have to treat me like this? I was getting mad, but I didn't want to cause a scene. So I did my best to hold in my anger, and I replied to my daughter, "I can't give you an answer right away. Please, give me some time." And we each went home. She hates me because my ex-wife, who holds a grudge against me, told her bad things about me, so it's not my daughter's fault. It's for my daughter. Of course I would pay for her expenses. I can't cause a scene before her important wedding and ruin her relationship with her husband. I would not participate in her wedding, but I wanted to see my daughter on her big day, so I asked if there was a way for me to have a peek without anyone catching me. But my daughter never replied. A few months later, on her wedding day, I felt reassured to see my daughter in her dress and her husband, who looked trustworthy, from the corner of the wedding venue. I knew I should leave as soon as possible, but I wanted to tell her congratulations and give her some celebration money. So I asked the staff if I could talk to my daughter in private. After the wedding, when I was alone with my daughter, knowing that this might be my last chance to see her, I got desperate to tell her the truth. And I stood in front of her as I grabbed her shoulder with both of my arms. At that moment, my daughter made an expression full of hatred.
"Disgusting! Don't touch me!"
She aggressively rejected me. I was so shocked to hear her say that. Everything I was planning to tell her disappeared from my mind. My daughter, who was in shock, looked at me and said,
"If you're here to give me celebration money, just leave. I don't want to see you ever again."
Then she walked away. She one-sidedly refused me, and the fact that she said I was disgusting when I tried to explain left me deep in shock. I felt broken-hearted. 2 years later, I received a call from an unknown number, and I answered. It turned out to be my daughter who was calling. My daughter offered to come visit me around the area where I was living, but I refused, saying that we can meet where we met up before. Again, I headed to the same cafe I visited 2 years ago. I checked with the staff about where my daughter was seated, and I headed to the table. When my daughter noticed me, she quickly stood up, bowed, and she suddenly apologized for me having to travel a long way to see her. Then her started telling me what happened. At my ex-wife's parents' house, she accidentally found a passbook that showed I've been sending thousands of dollars every month and many letters as well as gifts I've been sending to her. When she questioned her mother, she told her that we got a divorce because she cheated on me, and that when she wanted to get remarried to me, I had already found a new partner. She couldn't tell her the truth, so she had to lie about me. And she was shocked to see her daughter hating her father so much, so she didn't get the chance to tell her who was hating me more and more every day. My daughter bowed very deeply and said,
"I really wanted to apologize as soon as possible. I treated you so horribly. I'm sorry, Dad."
She started to cry as she said that. But to be honest, I was having mixed feelings. I know that her mother lied about me and told her all kinds of bad things I never did. But her expression full of hatred and her eyes full of annoyance back then, as well as her aggressive refusal, were engraved in my memory like trauma. But she was still my only daughter. She is my adorable daughter forever. I never forgot about my daughter, and because I couldn't do anything for her, I cut back my own expenses as much as I could so that she would always have enough money. And I worked hard to make more money until I got a promotion, doing everything I could to pay her as much child support as I could. My dream of being called Dad by my beloved daughter had finally come true today. So I replied, "I don't mind, forget it. I just wanted to see you once again." Then I took out an envelope with money inside and placed it in front of my daughter. I told her this was her inheritance money and the condolence as well as celebration fees that she would need in the future. I firmly told her that I've done everything I had to do as her father. Then I said that I won't be involved in her life anymore, took the check, and left my seat. After I paid for our food, I left the cafe. When I was heading to the parking lot, my daughter came running after me.
"Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I treated you so horribly. I was so sad when I thought that you didn't care about me at all. I'm sorry. Please don't say you won't be involved in my life anymore."
It was clear from her voice I was hearing from behind that she was crying, and it was enough to make my feet stop. When I turned to her, she flopped down as if her energy was gone and cried out like a child looking for me.
"Dad? Dad?"
Seeing her like that reminded me of my daughter who used to cry looking for me when she was a little kid. and I was offering my hand without even realizing. When she held my hand, although I was the one who said I'd stop getting involved with her life, I realized how much I loved my daughter and hugged her tightly. Then my daughter told me all kinds of things. How she felt a strong sense of hatred against me who left her and her mother, and how much she missed her father. Wondering why I never contacted her, and feeling like her father never cared for her, which she couldn't even confess to her mother. After I heard how she was feeling, it made me cry to know that she had her own struggles. Since then, my daughter and I...
Dad, I'm here!
Oh, let me cuddle her.
Oh, how adorable.
My daughter would visit my house where I lived with my wife once a month. I forgave my ex-wife for lying to our daughter, and I was finally able to meet my daughter casually. 3 years after the wedding, I wasn't able to see her often after she got pregnant, but we kept in touch. And when she gave birth, she sent me a video of her baby. Now the baby can travel far distances, so I invited my daughter's family over to my house. My daughter gave birth to a baby girl, and she was adorable, looking just like my daughter. They had a good relationship with my wife, and her husband was also a very nice person. Since the time my daughter contacted me for the first time, I felt a wide range of emotions. At first, I was in despair, but because I went through all of that, we're here right now. So I think that was something necessary. Overall, I am very happy with my life now.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.